everyone, Shane McNutt here, Craft Bourbon Hunter, and it's time for another review. And today we're heading down to Louisiana. When you think of Louisiana, what's the first thing you think of? Crawfish, Southern style food. And JT Meleck and their Fruget farm is no different. If you're not familiar with JT Meleck, they are a rice and a crawfish farm down in a small town called Branch, Louisiana. And several years ago, when the price of rice started to drop, Mike Fruget was looking at ways to move the rice and decided to get into the whiskey business. This is not your typical bourbon. This is a craft whiskey, an American whiskey. And a lot of people think rice whiskey, the first thing that comes to mind is a Japanese whiskey, a sake. This is not that. If you haven't tried this, this is one of the most unique whiskeys I've ever tasted out there. JT Meleck is producing a vodka as well. I have a bottle of that. I'm not a vodka drinker myself, but that is a vodka that I have tried, and just the vanilla flavors that come off of it are amazing. On their whiskey brand, they currently have two standard offerings. They have their small batch, which is coming in at 96 proof. And they have their single barrel program. You can see a couple single barrels here in front of me, behind me as well. You can tell I'm a big fan of their product. They do have another product coming out. It is a higher proof small batch. Sounds like that's going to be dropping in the coming weeks. I'll try to include some more information in the notes on the video. But what I want to focus on today is a fresh crack. So I had the pleasure last year, the very first single barrel pick I've ever been on was down at JT Meleck. As part of the Bourbon Real Talk group, went down and we selected barrel number 139. Such a great experience. There was over 25 of us on the picking team. We were one of the, we were the largest group to ever tour the facility. We got a full tour of everything, and was the largest picking group, and one of the first 100 people that have actually ever toured the facility. It's not your typical whiskey distillery where they provide tours and that, so it was an experience. After the pick was done, they provided us with a crawfish boil, just amazing in that. So this was my pick that I was on. Here's another one. This was from Bourbon Real Talk sister company, Someone Say Whiskey, out of Texas. They went down about a month later, and this was barrel number 166. I've got a couple other options. I've got a Mike's Pick that was released on Bourbon Outfitters, as well as the Whiskey Idiots Pick, and barrel number 200, which came out of the Hocus Pocus Liquor and Spirits. But what I wanted to review today is I want to jump a little bit back, and this is actually an older barrel. I got my hands on this from a good buddy of mine, JC Cajun. This is barrel number 2. So this was the second barrel that JT Meleck put out for their single barrel program. This is the Fruget Merry Christmas release. It's coming in at 120.9 proof. Again, cask strength, but just wanted to give this older barrel a try since I've got some of their newer products here, and give a little bit of a review. So, like on most whiskeys, get a lot of those caramel flavors, burnt sugar. Meleck does use new oak barrels that they char as well. I do apologize, I don't know the char level, but you get some of those similar profiles on the nose. I'm not very good at the nose, so I don't get a lot of other profiles on that, but let's dive into this and let's see what the palate gives us. Yeah, so again, initially, when you taste this this whiskey, and again, if you look at the color here, you can see the darkness that's in this. So again, when you think rice whiskey, you're not really thinking of this dark whiskey, but man, this really comes out, and you just get sort of hit with a lot of different flavors. On the palate here, I'm getting some of those brown sugar notes, a little bit of butterscotch, getting some sweetness. A little bit of the dark fruits are coming through on this one. We'll go back for a second pour here. Get a real nice long-lasting flavor on that palate. That just that brown sugar, butterscotch is there. The finish is long-lasting. I start getting some of the spice. There's no rye in this, but you get some of that spice that's coming out. But again, this is just something that's very unique, very, very different, but it's packed full of flavors. I mean, just some of the, I mean, you just wouldn't think of this coming off of a rice whiskey. You can probably tell, I mean, I've got this one down. This is actually my second bottle of this pick. I've killed off a couple other bottles of that as well. But just a phenomenal pick. And with this being the second barrel, comparing it to some of the newer ones, to me, you can taste that it does taste a little bit younger. I do not know, it does say 4+ years. I don't know the exact time, but it was in the barrel for at least 4 years. The newer ones are the same way. They're at least 4 years that are in the barrel. I do get some of the similar profiles. This one does taste a little bit younger, but it is still packed full of flavor. And man, I would buy it again. I mean, if I tell you, right now JT Meleck is only distributed in 2 states. They're in their home state of Louisiana and recently entered into the Texas market. They are also available on Bourbon Outfitters. You can get their vodka and their small batches there regularly. They do release single barrels. Typically there's one on there. Whenever it sells out, they'll release another one. So there are options to get this out of the area. But yeah, definitely keep an eye out for JT Meleck. Definitely worth the buy. Something I would highly recommend. And yeah, definitely get this one. So I hope you enjoyed this. Again, I enjoy not just those name brand whiskeys, those big Kentucky distilleries. I enjoy them. They're good. But these craft distilleries, that's what I keep an eye out for. It's something that I focus on and everything. So I hope you got some benefit out of this, and hope everybody has a great